Crafty Peeps, let's get crafting. I'm going to start by using 6 of these houses. I used 3 different shapes that they come in. And then I'm just going to pop out the back of the house. Now, of course, all of them popped out super easy. And then I go to film this one and it's being a little more stubborn. But really, I just slip my little Cricut spatula under it and then just pull it around. And it was actually really easy to get undone. And so what we're going to make here with these is a shelf. Now this shelf evolves throughout the video because I had a vision, but it was like, didn't quite have everything I needed. So it really does evolve. But as here you can see, you can just pop that right out. And we'll use those for the next project, the backings. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue the 2 houses that are alike on top of each other. We want these to be thick so that you can sit something into them. You could even make it 3 high if you want to. And these houses are still in the store, so hopefully you can still find them. I love them. I ordered a whole case because there's just so many different things you can do with them. So I used some wood glue and some hot glue. Now I'm going to grab some chicken wire. My brother-in-law actually had this left over from a project, so it was totally free to me. And then I'm going to take my staple gun here, and it's just something that I picked up at Ace Hardware for like, I don't know, around $10. And I'm just going to staple it right into these houses. As you can see too, I have all 3 houses side by side, and I did glue those together as well. And this was really easy just to staple this right on the back. Keep in mind, I am not a very strong person, and so if I can do it, you should be able to do it too. Once I get that all stapled in, around the top, I'm going to cut the excess off. And just using these little wire cutters, it just snaps off really easily. And then you'll see that there's chicken wire hanging down below the shelf. And I'm going to just trim that up, and that will become the bottom part of our shelf. And if you have any pokies or anything, you can just take your little pliers and kind of bend them back. I was a little worried about it being pokey, but it wasn't at all. Okay, so now I just want to make sure that when I cut it at the bottom, it's going to be a straight line. So I just kind of measure, and I think I measured 8 inches down just to cut it nice and even. And again, I'm trying to cut it as even as possible. Now I probably could have painted first, but like I said, this project evolved, and I didn't really decide to paint it until after I put the chicken wire on. So I'm taking my Rust-Oleum chalk paint and linen and a chippy brush that I got from Walmart, and I'm just going to go around and kind of distress, and I want this to look really rustic, like it had been outside and that the paint was chipping off, and I wanted to give it that look. So just go ahead and I paint around all of the houses. Now I'm going to take this ribbon that I picked up from Michael's, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it around so that I don't have any pokies and just kind of finish it off. So I'm just doing a halfway point, and I will glue from the little buffalo check to the little buffalo check on each side, and just use some hot glue. This was fast and easy. I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was. So I'm going to do that on all 3 sides. You can see there that I have the ribbon farther on the bottom because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that bottom around to give it a nice clean corner. And that is it for this project. You can hang it on the wall. Now originally I was going to put another piece of wood down below to have it like a 2-layer shelf, but that wasn't quite working out for me with the supplies that I had. But I just think this is so cute on the wall, and you can hang items from the chicken wire. You could do a little mini banner. I feel like if you wanted to have it in your bedroom, you could hang earrings from it. There's all sorts of things that you could do. If you're new here, I hope you will stick around by hitting that subscribe button and the bell for all the notifications. Also, you can find me over on Instagram where I share more content as well as get to know you personally. And I will link my Instagram down below. Using the houses that I had popped out from the last project, I'm going to make a sign here that says family. So I went ahead and I cut out some pieces of scrapbook paper, and it's a paper pad from Michael's, and I will link it below. Hopefully they still have it, but you can use any kinds of paper that work in the color scheme of your house. So this paper, it's kind of hard to see here on camera, but it's grays and tans, and then there's some gold foiling as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll Mod Podge these down onto the houses. And then I take my Cricut and I take a piece of paper that's also from that kit, and this is a brown paper with some gold foiling on it. And I go ahead and I cut out the letters for family. I think a lot of times we forget that you can actually cut paper out as well. I know most people do vinyl, but for this project I really loved this paper, and it's nice and thick. And I am flipping this over so that when I peel the letters off, they're nice and flat and they don't curl up. So that's a little trick that I learned, I think, from one of you. And then I'm just going to take my double sticky tape runner that is a must if you're doing any kind of paper crafting. And I'll go ahead and adhere those down onto the houses. As you can see, this is a super quick project, and we just were able to use what was left over from the last project. Once I get those stuck all down, I'm going to take some of the tumbling tower blocks, and I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to take my brown ink pad and just run it around the edges of each one of the houses. And this just gives it a little nice border and makes it pop a little better. Okay, so now I'm going to take the tumbling tower blocks and I'm going to hot glue them onto the back. Now make sure that it's just slightly above the bottom. If you do it right to the bottom, it will fall over. So just having it a hair up is just enough to tilt it back so that it stands on its own. So I just do this for each of the houses, and then you can just lay them however you want out, and it makes a super cute sign, especially if you have like a mantle or something. I am loving how this turned out, and it was so easy to make. This is one of those projects that actually turned out how I imagined it. So I'm taking 4 of these signs, and again, I'm just popping out that back. These ones were way easier to pop out. And there's just 4 nails that are keeping it intact, like I'm talking tiny little nails. So out of the frame, I just kind of take those out. I'm not going to be using the backgrounds for this project. So you see I have 4 of those. Now look, if you just glued those together, that would make the cutest little like crate. Would be so cute. And then I'm going to take 2 of these window looking signs, and I'm going to pop off that middle there, and then just give it a little bit of a sanding because it is plastic, so this paint will stick to it. Now you're like, these are already white, why are you painting them? But they are shiny and plastic looking, and I want this to look very rustic. And so I'm taking some of that linen chalk paint once again and painting around those windows, front and back. And then I'm going to paint all of these frames. Again, every bit a part of it. You're going to see the whole thing, so you want to paint all of it. And it took me 2 coats of paint on all of these. Now, what is this, you ask? It is going to be a terrarium. I saw one online and I thought, ooh, I could make that. And so that is what this is. So now that everything is painted, I will go ahead and assemble it. So I'm going to take 2 of these rectangle frames, and those are going to be my sides. Then the 2 windows will be my other 2 sides. And I go ahead and I just kind of clip them together at first just to make sure that all of this is going to work. And then the other 2 frames will be my top. Now, since this is not going to have a latching top, I kept the bottom open so that I can just set it over the top of whatever decor I'm going to use with it. I'm going to use some E6000 and hot glue to put this together. So I want to make this look like it's been sitting outside and the paint has chipped off. And this is super easy because the paint actually, this is all kind of like plastic, and so the paint does actually kind of chip off, so it looks really good. I just love that chip look. Everything here I'm using besides the paint is from Dollar Tree. Those little clips are from Dollar Tree, the sanding block. But again, I'm just kind of sanding it and getting that paint chippy. And then that's it. That's it for this project. You can put anything you want inside of it, plants, succulents. I mean, you could put seasonal decor in here, a nest with eggs. I mean, so many different things. And I just love the rustic look. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it to this final project, leave me a little plant emoji down below. And I hope you all have a wonderful and safe Easter. I will see you next time. Happy crafting.